what you do is basically, I'd make sure there's no vehicle behind me very close, no one beside me, and I'll just do it real quick right now. And you stab the brakes probably about 30–50%, not violently, but firmly, right? So here it goes. Okay, I just did it. It only took a second, and nothing really happened. The braking was normal. But if it's black ice, you'll feel the vehicle just slide like a hockey puck or a curling rock on the ice, or you might even go sideways a little bit, and you have to kind of correct as you go, depending on how violently you did the thing and everything else. But but that trick right there is very important, and you do it when you see the conditions warrant it. And it may be that you can have fantastic conditions right now, and in 5 minutes down the road it'll be like deadly icy. So test as you go. Just make sure there's no one around you, so you don't wipe anyone else out or someone slams into the back of you as you do your brakes. And it's a good thing I always kind of let everyone know in the vehicle brakes. They know what I'm doing, so you don't get upset at me. They probably still do a little bit, but I mean, I just have to test the roads, right? So that's a very important tip. Knowing your conditions. So I'll give you a story. My parents, they started off in a Ford Econoline van. They converted it, lifted the roof up. My dad's a handyman, went and built out the whole interior. And that's a whole nother topic of video I want to be able to share about. But he outgrew that, I guess. They were snowbirding down in Arizona, Yuma, and he went and bought a 3/4 ton Ford truck, diesel, with I think it was a 28 or 30 foot fifth wheel. And they were going down there in Montana someplace, and they're going into a valley, and snowy, blistery conditions, with snow banked up on the sides and everything else like that. And they're coming onto a bridge, kind of narrow, those bridges, when they clear the snow, it's hard for them to get really close to the edge and clear it all off. And as she was going down, my mom was actually driving, Dad was taking a break, and she was driving, and then someone was coming down the other side, and they both met up on this bridge on the highway, and the other person was too far into their lane, like he was hugging the line or maybe over the center line. And that's another pet peeve, like when you're driving, like drive so that you're in the center of the road. Like, I mean, don't be driving way over to one side here and scaring all the people in oncoming traffic or what, like line up the center of your hood to the center of the road. It's amazing how many people can't do that. But so anyhow, person is driving like that. My mom freaks out a bit, overcorrects, hits some bad stuff or whatever, and bang, off into no man's land, into the ditch. My dad's there, we're gonna die! That's his words. And they jackknife the rig, and mess, a big mess. And yeah, I'll give you another quick story about winter driving. I was going home one night. It was an evening, and it was in Edmonton, Castle Downs area where I used to live. And by Castle Downs Mall, if you know where that is, if you live in the area, heading north, there's 2 lanes, Meridian, big grassy Meridian space, and then 2 lanes again, and then they all merge into just 2 lanes around this big curve. I was only 2 or 3 blocks away from home. I was doing about 60K, that's the speed limit there, and no vehicles on the road. Is blackout at night, just headlights, and I saw a vehicle about a 1/4 mile away coming towards me, and I had this bad vibe, thought I just have a bad vibe about this. And I'm driving along, and all of a sudden, kerbang, head-on collision. I wish I had a picture that I could show you of the vehicle. It was a Ford Torino, and the whole front end was just smoked. And what ended up happening is the person who was driving it was an Oriental import fellow who was visiting his friend, or maybe trying to immigrate to Canada, I'm not too sure. We've had a lot of that. But he was borrowing his buddy's vehicle. Coming around the corner, it was kind of a little bit blustery, icy conditions, and he must have hit some slippery section, and he just felt the vehicle maybe move. And that's a key thing, is you don't want to overreact when things happen, because that's exactly what he did. He overreacted, over overcompensated, steering back into, you know, to the center of the thing, to the lane, and hit some dry patch, and shot right across the road, head on collision right into me. And so we're talking about an impact here of you know, 60 miles an hour, you know, of us both hitting each other and combined speed, and I took the brunt of it because I didn't go too far after he hit me, and he spun around and shot off, you know, down the road a bit, and I did, you know, back then there, you know, we didn't wear seat belts, and head in the windshield, knees in the dash, and I ended up with my head down on the floor over there, but totaled that vehicle. So don't overcompensate when you're hitting this, you know, road conditions here. Just, you know, have a gentle hand with it. Sometimes you have to be very fast and aggressive. But now here's another thing I want to show you. We're coming up to this corner, and this is an 80-kilometer-an-hour zone, like, you know, 40 miles an hour. There's this posted speed limit. Now, if you're going 100K or 115K here, and this is all ice, and all of a sudden you hit this and you can't negotiate this corner, you're doing a Dukes of Hazzard jump right into those trees over there, and you're going to end up with a mess. These road conditions are just, you know, like perfectly fine, so there's no problem here. You could hit this at 100K, I bet, and make it. Not saying that you should, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I mean, that's where the speed factor comes into it. So yeah, so you gotta test your conditions, have good tires, watch for the road, you know, watch the temperature, see what's happening. If it's, you know, well below freezing, like by a long shot, you're probably not going to have a lot of icy conditions. It'll just be more snow and whatnot.